Hi all and hello my Chili Con Carnage crew, it's Chili here from Live Listen Erased, and I wanted to do a special episode in regards to the Good Things Festival lineup, because damn, there was a lot of bands to cover, and that little short just couldn't touch base with every single band here. So I wanted to go more in depth and break down this one, and just discuss, if I was going to this festival, which bands that I would see, who would be my preferences, and my thoughts on the overall lineup itself, because look, heads up, it's a very solid one. It's an extremely solid lineup from, Good Things, which to the year prior was vastly underwhelming, I've got to say. There was, there was Devo, I think, as one of the lineups, and it was like, okay, you're talking about a largely metal concert that was just headlined by Devo. I know Limp Bizkit was on the mix, but I went and saw them when they did a sideshow, and that was the only thing I wanted to see was Limp Bizkit at the end of the day, But when we're going back to that, Fall Out Boy, Limp Bizkit, and Devo were the three headliners, and yeah, for me, Limp Bizkit was the only one. Managed to see them on the sideshow, fantastic, I love that. But the rest of it was pretty crap. But we go to this one, and I've got to say there is some real solid bands amongst the mix here, because we're going to start off with Korn, the headliner act. We're talking about the band, the big metal band on the scene. One of the ones I've heard lots of rumours about to see live. They're regarded as one of the best live performances out there at the moment, and I have yet to actually see them. Korn actually has a rich history in Australia when they performed in the Big Day Out back in, I think it was 1999 or somewhere around that, and they really ripped it up. They just tore it to shreds and absolutely killed it. They did a fantastic job during that year, and yeah, it was just one of those highlights from the Big Day Out. If you are talking to people who went to those festivals before, they collapsed or whatever, I think you'll hear Korn as being one of the best acts to see. I think Queens of Stone Age is another one, but yeah, Korn was one of the massive highlights from that. So yeah, look, I would love to see Korn. Being a fan for 25 odd years, and it would just be a massive highlight to see them. And of course, being the headliner act, being the closer one, yeah, you're gonna see Korn, aren't you? So it's definitely one of those things I would love to just see from the band. And which songs to pick. There are so many songs to choose from here. We're talking about the 30th anniversary as well for their debut album. So, Blind would be just a killer song. Got the Life, of course. Adidas. Adidas. These tracks would just be impressive to hear by the band. But the next one along the list here, we're talking about Sum 41, and we're talking about the last tour that Sum 41 are going to be doing down under, because they are doing their last worldwide tour before the band, of course, call it a day. And I haven't seen Sum 41. I missed them when they came out I think it was last year. They did a show with Offspring, and I'm pretty sad I missed that one. That would have been a really, really good concert to go to, because that's two bands that I really like, I really enjoy, and I haven't seen either of them. So it was a bit sad that I didn't get to, have the time and go see that concert. I'm pretty sure it would have been an epic one. But, Sum 41, I mean, damn, Canada, you have like this hidden little pop punk group here, or whatever you want to call them, and they are just an epic one. And again, this is another group that this is 20 years of Chuck now as well this year, so that's another thing to think about when you're going into it. And even their recent album, actually, Heaven X Hell, was really good. I really love that album. It was a solid one. I got my 5-minute review out there on that one as well. But All Killer No Filler, Does This Look Infected, all these tracks, Fat Lip, I mean, damn, that is just going to go off when you see it in the pit. But, Sum 41, to see them on their last world tour, that would be something special. So that would be really cool. The next one we go to is the Violent Femmes, and I gotta say, I know of them. I certainly remember a few tracks back in the day, but I can't really recall them, any of their works. So, of course, I'm just gonna have a little Google search here on my phone and just find them here. So, yeah, Blister in the Sun, of course, yes. But I remember, I think I had a best of CD of theirs some years ago, and I listened to it, and it was really cool. They were pretty intriguing, but I just can't really seem to place any other songs of theirs. So, as far as the Violent Femmes go, I think it'll be a curious band to see. I'm sure that they would also be a great band to see live, though. And people in the comment section, tell me below, what are your thoughts in regards to the Violent Femmes, and have you had any experiences with seeing them live? Because I think it'd be pretty intriguing to see them. We go on to the next one, Electric Callboy. They almost seem to have a reoccurring lineup. They're always in Good Things Festival. I remember when I went to Good Things back in 2022, I actually saw them then, and I'm just trying to see if they were possibly on the lineup here for 2023. It doesn't look like they were, but they're a really funny band. Obviously, the weird mix of electric meets metal kind of thing, and their video clips are just something different. Yeah, so I saw Electric Callboy 2 years ago. They were good. If they were clashing with another artist that I would want to see, I would probably just push them aside. Unfortunately, not high up on my list. Cool videos, but But how do you put these awesome videos across to your stage performances? I mean, they did alright when they were there 2 years ago. But anyway, look, I might leave these guys off if they clash with someone else. The next one along the list is going to be Billy Corgan. And we're talking about Smashing Pumpkins, of course, Billy Corgan here. This is sad because, it's his solo career here. We're not talking with Smashing Pumpkins. If it was with Smashing Pumpkins, holy crap, this thing would just be one epic lineup instantly. I'm not disregarding his solo material. It's fine. I just really haven't had much time to listen to a lot of it. I'm trying to think of the one where there was the album cover. It's like some kid with a headdress on, and that was like, it's fine. It's fine works. I just I can't think of anything to say other than that. I'm sure his solo material is good. I've just never taken the time to really go and listen to it. And so Ogallala, I think that was it. Ogallala was the record that I'm trying to think of. And look, it's fine. But again, we're not talking with Smashing Pumpkins. Maybe he'll do a song or two from Smashing Pumpkins. I kind of doubt it though. I believe he keeps these two things separate, so I don't think that we will see those two, sides of Billy Corgan blending in. Next one though, holy moly, Mastodon. Yeah, I have seen Mastodon years ago, and they were impressive. They were damn good, and it was during their tour for the Once More Around the Sun, and that was just epic. We're also talking about 20 years ago. Well, as of yesterday, from recording this episode, was the Blood and Thunder album, Leviathan album. And Mastodon is just always great to see. They're a band with no bad records, pretty much, in my mind anyway. Despite maybe the last one being questionable, it's still got some absolute bangers on there. It just goes on for a little bit too long. But I would be curious to see Mastodon now versus when I saw them, 10 years ago nearly? So, I would definitely put this high up on my list of bands to be seen. The next one along is Kerry King. We're talking about, of course, his solo outing recently. So he had his solo album, Kerry King, and I've just got to say, I'm not entirely sure how I would feel about seeing him in a live setting. I'm not entirely sure because, From Hell I Rise, that was the album. I've also got a 5-minute review on that one, and it was a solid album. I think it'd be very cool to see it. If he's playing every single track from this album, that's 46 minutes, which is usually a set list for anything on a festival. So I'm guessing he'll probably play the entire album in full, plus maybe 1 or 2 Slayer tracks. I mean, come on, man. If he doesn't play anything from Slayer back in this day, you're just missing out and just really fucking things up. So I don't know what to add on that one. Again, look, if there was a slot where I could see him, I might go see him, but I don't know. The Gaslight Anthem, I don't know this band, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure who they are. Just going to have a little check here on the Gaslight Anthem and see if I recognize any of the tracks. 45. Is that the one that's 45? Maybe. Everybody's got it. Maybe that's that track and I'm just remembering it wrong, but who knows. And I don't really know this band. I'm looking through the songs of theirs. Nothing really stands out that I've heard of. The album covers themselves. Nothing. Sorry. Comment sections. Tell me below what your thoughts are in regards to the Gaslight Anthem, because I just don't know them. Should I check this band out? Is it worthwhile listening to it? So for me, this is down on the list. Sorry to say. Next one though, Jet. We're talking about the Australian band Jet, who had, what was it, Get Born, I think was their record from 20 or 21 years back. That was a massive breakthrough record for them, and we're talking about Are You Gonna Be My Girl, Cold Heart Bitch, and Roll Over DJ. Great tunes, all of them, and this real kind of callback to garage rock and kind of Australia's answer to that whole era. You had them, you had the Vines, a few other bands like that around about this time, and I think like they're one of those bands from that era that is an absolute standout. I can't say anything wrong with Jet. I wasn't a big fan of them back in the day, but over the past coming years, I've listened to a fair few of their songs and gone, yeah, damn it, I missed the boat there. I really did. They were great. They were really good. Speaking of Aussie bands, the next one up is going to be Living End. This is a band who really hasn't had a record in a long time, actually, and it kind of, I don't know, it makes me worried whenever you find that one of your favourite bands hasn't released new music in a long time. Like, are they still around? Question mark, question mark. Although I say that, and I just looked up the albums, and I forgot about Wonderbar that came out in 2018. But when we're going to be talking about Living End, we are talking about the first 3 or 4 albums, really. We're talking, the self-titled album from 98, The Living End. We're talking about Roll On. We're talking about Modern Artillery and State of Emergency. All these 4 albums I had and absolutely loved, especially Roll On, which I think my introduction, or kind of introduction to them, was through Guitar Hero 3 or something like that. And they had that track, Carry Me Home. That was it. An absolute gem of a track, this balls of the wall, rockabilly, and real unsung hero amongst the Australian rock scene of the 90s, to be honest. They were kind of in between the decades. Like, they had a lot of Australian rock artists from the early 90s, like Silverchair and Powderfinger. And then, here comes Living End towards the end of, that hype. And this is just before Jet and the Vines really brought that scene, the Australian rock scene back up again. And then Living End just sits somewhere in the middle. Maybe I should do a special episode dedicated to Living End and, describe them for my, non-Australian listeners out there. I know Americans, you watch most of my videos, so, hey, comment below if you want to know who the hell the Living End are if you've never heard of them, because I'd be glad to talk about this band a lot more in depth. They've got a lot of great tunes, so if you haven't heard of them, go and listen to them. So, yeah, I would love to be seeing them because, the dude's got an upright bass. He's got his little beer cooler on the top there for when he's playing it. He's jumping off that bass. I think that there's a lot of great things, and I would love to see them. So, yeah, Living End would be one hell of a band to be seeing live. The next one along will be L7. Okay, so I had to Google search this band because I remember I've heard of them. I remember hearing of them, and the track that I'm thinking of was "Pretend We're Dead." That was the big breakthrough song, and they were part of that. I think they were around during the time of like Hole and that whole Riot Girl kind of scene. I think it was. So yeah, L7 was a curious one. There's a fact that I was trying to remember. I'm sorry, I've absolutely forgotten it now, but an L7 band, to see them now would be interesting. I wouldn't mind catching a few of their tracks. They're not exactly high up, but they sit somewhere between my curiosity and completely disregarding other bands. So I think L7 will be an interesting one. North Lane is the next one along the list here, and I gotta say North Lane would be really cool. I've heard lots of good things. I know it's not my scene of music entirely, but I think there'd be a lot of intriguing music to hear from them, considering I haven't really listened to most of their music. And I'm pretty sure, this is a Sydney band as well, so local legends, of course. I have heard lots of people talking about them, so it's good to see them up here on the set list. And look, if there was a slot, I'd go see them, to be honest. I've heard that many good things that I kind of would be, I'd have to do it. Bowling for Soup is the next one up, and I had to go back and listen to these guys because I remembered their track in 1985. But I was like, what else did they do again? Like, I completely forgot. And I'm going through it, and they're kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. They're famous for a lot of covers, girls, what was it? There was a couple of tracks here I'm thinking of. Summer of '69 and I Ran So Far Away. Punk Rock 101, I think that was another cover as well. Anyway, there's a lot of tracks here that are covers. I'm thinking about it going, shit, I don't remember that many songs that they actually performed by themselves. A lot of these seems to be like those pop goes punk kind of, if you remember those records back in the day, 20 odd years ago, they had those pop goes punk records, and these bands would just do covers of various pop songs in their own methods. And it's like Bowling for Soup with the preambling to that, or not preambling, they were like the prerequisite for that. So, look, Bowling for Soup would be I'd be curious to see them. I think that'd be pretty cool to see live, and yeah, they seem like an intriguing band, so I definitely would be curious to see that. Next one up is going to be Alpha Wolf here on the list, and I feel like I've heard of this band. Hell, I might even done. Did I do a review on them? No, I didn't. Not the band I was thinking of, sorry. So, no, I'm not familiar with this group, unfortunately. They're from Tasmania. Oh, interesting. So, they're another local band. I'm going to have to listen to music, sorry. I don't know Alpha Wolf. They seem quite interesting here, going through the pictures of the albums, if I'm judging by the album cover. So maybe. The next one, I guess it'll be the same thing here as well. What have we got here? Sleeping with Sirens. Again, another band I don't particularly know of, unfortunately. So comment sections below. Should I be listening to these two bands that I'm unfamiliar with? I don't know. Next one along, Butterfly Effect. I do know these bands. I do know these guys. I've seen them twice live, actually, and they are amazing. I love them. This is just a massive callback to, my youth, if you will, and I just got to say, I would be keen to see them again because, they had a new album out a little while ago. I think it was 4, and it was really good. It was a really good album, and I'd be really intrigued to see them in their new state of mind almost, because they split up for a few years, and it was like really sad when they did that, but they did come back in 2022. They released 4. They had an extremely good song off that album as well with Visiting Hours. It actually made my list of top 10 songs to listen to for that year, and yeah, it was one of these bands that just goes all the way back to when I heard them with Begins Here, and that was like this intriguing history of, I saw an ad on TV, it was playing Begins Here, and they're like, you got to check out this group, and yeah, sure enough, the advertisement just bit me, and I went down the road and bought their CD. So yeah, Begins Here, been a fan since back then. And of course, Imago and Final Conversations of Gods. So that was the two time frames when I saw them. I saw them on the Imago tour, and I saw them on the Final Conversation of Kings album. So I really want to see the Butterfly Effect. That's high up on my list as well. The next one is 311, sorry, I should say. Hector, if you're watching this, you're going to be like, oh, he remembered. So I got that wrong during my short when I made it. But this is another band as well that was brought to my attention as well due to Guitar Hero, which I think the track Amber was on it. And Amber's a great tune, Down as well, all mixed up. Beautiful Disaster. Sorry, it was Beautiful Disaster that was on the Guitar Hero one. That was the one. And yeah, they're really cool. Like, I was listening to them afterwards going, oh yeah, I remember 311, but I can't remember their music outside of Amber. So I went back and listened to them going, even their most recent stuff, I think I was listening to, I want to say Voyager or one of those records around that time, was pretty good. It's this real hidden gem of a band almost. So yeah, it's another one. Look, we're going to go through rapid fire on these last ones because obviously this video is getting a bit long and I don't know a lot of the bands that we're going to be talking about next up. So Aviva, I'm not familiar with, unfortunately. Destroy Boys, I'm not familiar with them either. Dragon, this band is if I'm remembering right, I think they're an Australian band from the 70s or something. I think that might be the case. And if that is the band that I'm thinking of, it's like, okay, interesting choice there. So yeah, 1975 they were based in, there we go. So yeah, interesting one there. Would I see them? I don't know, I can't say I know their music. Next one's up is Frank Turner and the Sleeping Souls. Again, don't know this one. From Ashes to New, who knows? Grandson, Highly Suspect, Imminence. This one though, Killing Heidi. Yes. Yeah, I would love to see Killing Heidi. Bonus note as well, they're going to be performing Reflector, their debut album, in full. Now that is massively high on my list. I have been wanting to see Killing Heidi for a long time, ever since I heard Reflector, which is like this quintessential album from my youth. I think it was released in like 98 from memory, and of course the big song would be Weir that everyone remembers. And this is a band that for me they never got they never found their footing in the Australian rock scene. They had this big breakthrough song, which was massive for the group, and then they had their follow-up album a couple of years afterwards, and Heaven Sent was also a big song for them. But then they had some issues as well afterwards. I think I'm just trying to remember Ellie Hopper, I think is the name of the singer. I think she had some vocal issues, which required surgery to fix. The band broke up and all these things, and real life happened in between. So I have been following Killing Heidi. I have seen them on a few festival lineups as well here and there, and it's one of those bands like, oh man, I want to see them. They'd be cool to see. I think seen Ellie and her brother, the guitarist. I'm sorry, absolutely forgotten his name right this moment. But seeing those two up there performing, and in particular performing Reflector, an album that is ingrained in my mind from start to finish, would be an amazing thing to see. So they're probably early on in the lineup as well. So I've got to go down there early. So those last few bands there that I'm just not familiar with, they're usually those warm-up acts. They're the ones during the day, and of course you're walking around the festival checking things out they're playing on. So I'm probably going to be bouncing between stages and checking out some of these groups if I headed down to see this, because at the end of the day there's always good music, and you always find yourself listening to some bands there at festivals and going, oh damn, this is actually solid, I'll go check them out. That was the case when I managed to go see Download Festival, and I saw Behemoth. I didn't know who the hell they were, but I caught them during a live performance and went, oh my god, this is great, I've got to listen to these guys more. And at that same festival, also Alien Weaponry, New Zealand-based metal band. Oh my god, are they cool. You got to check them out, actually. Go listen to their music. So, I guess leading back into this, it is an extremely great festival lineup from 2024 here. Massive rebound compared to 2023, which is this huge misstep, I thought. So Korn, Sum 41, absolute massive ones there. Mastodon, Kerry King, these are the bands that I would love to be seeing. Jet, Living End, maybe L7 there. Bowling for Soup, possibly. The Butterfly Effect, definitely. Killing Heidi, I want to mention again. 311, these are the bands that I would like to see. Billy Corgan would be probably up there as well. And I think this is going to be a really cool one. Now, if you are curious, I actually have a special episode out from when I went to the Good Things Festival in 2022 that had bands like, who was it? We had Deftones on there, I remember that one. And, I did a whole video in regards to that, my attending of it. So if you were curious to see the 2022 lineup from Good Things, which included Bring Me the Horizon. It included, of course, Deftones, as I mentioned. NoFX doing Pumpkin Drublic and Full, Tism, The Amity Infliction, Gojira. Gojira were red hot. That was the best, one of the best mosh pits I've been part of. Lacuna Coil was on there, Melancholia, Soulfly, and Sabaton, all these other bands. And again, Electric Callboy was on there. So if you're curious to see a video that I did from 2 years ago talking about that festival, and has also a couple of videos from the day of the live acts, go check that out, because it's another video that I made. I'm not getting money from it. Hell, it got demonetized so fast once I got this channel monetized, because it contains music. So look, go and check that one out. I might do a second one, a follow-up to 2024, if I go to the festival. Fingers crossed, hopefully. Who knows? But, man, this is definitely a festival that I want to be part of. So comment below, tell me if you are going to this concert, because, hell, we might just cross paths. Who knows? Anyway, you have a great day. Do the socials. Tell me below on your thoughts in regards to this lineup from 2024, and have a great day. If you've enjoyed this content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to us, and stay notified for future music related content, because it keeps our manager happy at the end of the day. We are also on Discord, Instagram, Facebook, and all those other social platforms if you want to check us out. As always, people, you have a great day and stay spicy.